Here at the Centre for Research Communications at the University of Nottingham, we've been working on a JISC funded project called the Research Communications Strategy Project. Now, the aims of this work were to look at emerging strategic issues in developments in research communications, particularly the practical aspects of successful implementation and the implications of trends and developments. Now, to do all this, we looked at emerging models, key trends and practices within the research environment, and we fed back information and analysis back to JISC and back to the wider community. We particularly dealt with institutional stakeholders like research support offices and PVCs for research, who are outside the repository management community, who are served by another of our projects, the Repository Support Project. As outputs, we have arranged workshops across the country for open access costs and benefits for individual institutions. We've organised a large-scale event for stakeholders to discuss the funding of open access policy implementation. This latter event actually led to the establishment of a special interest group email list for research managers and administrators within their own professional organisation. We've been very active in the area. We've spoken at over 10 events and attended and contributed at over 25 other events and group meetings, along with invitations onto committee memberships for strategic projects. We've produced 5 reports for JISC, along with public versions of these reports for wider dissemination, and we've edited 4 briefing papers on wider strategic issues that have been written for us by experts in the field. We have an active blog, and on this website we've structured this to hold the extensive scholarly communications handbook, as well as a set of referenced open access answers to common questions. The website holds the results of our survey of academics, as well as the results from the 4 consultancy projects we commissioned. We hope that this website will remain a valuable resource for work in this area for some time to come. Now, you can read our findings and our recommendations in detail in our final report, which is available from the website. But just to pick out one key area of academic culture, it must be emphasised that changes to research communications, and particularly the adoption of open access, relies entirely on attitudes and acceptance by academics of new ways of doing things. I think our work has emphasised the true cultural barriers to adoption that are very hard to affect with facts and figures and policies, vital though those are. For instance, the open access citation advantage has always been considered a major advocacy plank. Make your work open access and get more citations. I think there was a feeling that some measure of impact in the forthcoming REF would only strengthen this. However, we found for most academics that this is not a driver at all. The journal brand is still the key deciding driver for many authors. And once publication in your chosen journal has been achieved, then making it open access may seem like an optional appendage. The perception of the cost of open access publication and the perceived complexity of sourcing funding for open access costs is more than a balancing concern for any advantages given by open access for most academics. Even mandates alone are not enough. They need to be backed up with seamless processes, long-term reassurance and constant support for academics. Now, certainly steps should be taken by funders and institutions to make their mandates more visible and encourage compliance. We should have in place integrated research management systems and joined up workflows. Funders should encourage the idea that dissemination is a necessary cost of doing research, is part of the research process, in fact. The Wellcome Trust has led in this area, but other funders are beginning to promote this too. However, quite interestingly, the single most influential reported argument that we got in our work was that of the public good, that publicly funded research should be publicly available. Now, this argument is well known, but I have a feeling that many open access advocates have soft-pedalled on this, in case open access was seen as an idealistic, principled endeavour. And so there's been an emphasis on advantages in facts and figures. But it may be that many academics are also idealistic and principled. So I think that that particular argument might be one strength for open access in the future. Now, we've all found the strategic aspects of research communication to be a fascinating area in which to work, and we've thoroughly enjoyed the project. We hope that others will find our results and resources interesting and useful.